The Art of War by Sun Tzu Chapter 7 Maneuver Summary. Sun Tzu stated, "Nothing is more difficult than the art of maneuver. The trick is to make what looks like a convoluted and aimless course into one that is actually direct and focused." He draws a distinction between direct and indirect approaches designed to simultaneously confuse the enemy and demonstrate the ability in the lower ranks to obey complex and changing commands. An army should only be split up when absolutely necessary. It is better to make sure all the troops arrive at the battlefield more or less in good condition and at the same time, well ahead of the arrival of the opposing army. It is even better if the enemy must rush, which exhausts the troops and supplies along the way. If an army has a long march, those who are strongest and most lightly equipped will arrive first, while the weaker soldiers carrying heavier baggage will straggle behind, leaving themselves open to ambush. The entire army gathered together well before the enemy arrives is considered an advantageous position. However, do keep in mind that setting off on an extended forced march with all troops both strong and weak, and all the equipment, could mean that critical sections of the army are not prepared to face the enemy when they arrive on the battlefield. Sun Tzu cites the Book of Military Administration written by military scientist Wu Qi 440 BCE 381 BCE during the Warring States era to explain the use of banners, gongs, flags, and drums to signal troop movements on the field based on the time of day or night. You must use the knowledge of local guides to use the natural advantages of the land. Before you make a move, you must first ponder and deliberate. This is the art of maneuvering. With your army operating as a single body, there is no space for the brave to advance alone or for the cowardly to retreat alone. During an army's encampment, effective castrametation, how a military encampment is laid out in orderly sections, provides protection from nightly attacks. Having clusters of smaller encampments surrounding the commander's headquarters can not only signal an approaching enemy incursion using torches, but also to illuminate the entire camp so the defenders know the location of the enemy. Harmony must be achieved between the ranks of your army before you can march into battle. Once your soldiers operate as a unified body, you can turn your attention to defeating your enemy. Sun Tzu's statement about the troops' state of mind at different times of the day are a way of referring to periods in an extended campaign. So, while spirits are strong in the morning or at the start of a war, as the day wears on those spirits begin to weaken. In the evening, everybody just wants to get home. By implication, the commander should be aware of this progression in morale, not only among his own troops, but in evaluating the state of mind of enemy troops as well. Sun Tzu advises that the time to attack is not at the start of a campaign, but toward the evening, when enemy troops are low on energy and have little will to continue fighting. The reverse is true when it comes to his own troops. They will be more willing to make an attack in the morning. The successful strategy is one that can sever the host of an enemy army from its head by controlling the factors of moral, mental, physical, and changing circumstances. All the things that weaken an opposing commander's confidence and ability to plan must be fully exploited. Sun Tzu explained how to bait a surrounded enemy with a carefully controlled escape route. The enemy simply ran down the escape route without looking, and offered no resistance. Had they been forced to fight to the death, many in the surrounding army would have also been killed or wounded. By treating the enemy like a cornered wild animal, a wise commander positions it for control rather than destruction.